Hi there. Today I'm going to tie a small bonefish pattern, but well, basically this pattern was developed for the Danish sea trout, but it turned out to be very good for bonefish and other saltwater species as well, because this basically what this does is it imitates food. So it imitates a small crustacean. That could be a small crab or a small shrimp or something like that. And really, what this is and why this pattern is so good is it looks like food to any species in saltwater feeding on crustaceans. So it's a fairly simple pattern. First, we need to tie down two wriggle legs. In black and in white and orange. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna tie two wriggle legs down here on the white part of the wriggle leg. So the orange part is pointing backwards, like so. Because I don't want these, but I'm gonna need these for later. So I'm gonna cut these off around there. And then I'm gonna leave this, lay these off to the side. I'm gonna leave these here to the side, so I know where they are, because I'm gonna need them sooner, before this fly is done. So that's a strand of flash I don't need. And this is basically the tail, these two. And as you can see, I've tied them down so they kind of stick out here on each side of the hook. These are a bit long for my taste, so I'm gonna cut them off. That's better, I think. And as you can see, it's kind of like a small V at the end of the fly. And now what I'm gonna do is this is gonna be the bonefish version. If you're doing this for sea trout, just wriggle the wetting material around the hook. But since I'm gonna do this for bonefish, I'm gonna take my lead here. I'm gonna fold it over 4 times. Like so, and then I'm gonna twist it, so I get this spun metal wire. I'm gonna take my cheap scissors. I can locate them here on the table, and then I'm gonna cut it off. So I get kind of like this rope of wire here. And then I'm gonna tie this on the upper side of the hook. I'm gonna tie this down. Oh, it was a bit too long. Like so. Bit too long still. Like so. Because I want all my weight to be on the upper side of the fly, because this will ensure that the fly, when it sinks, it will sink with the hook upside, so it will actually rest on the bottom upside down, and this is an advantage when you're fishing on shallow flats and stuff like that, because you want your flies to have the hook upside down, in order to actually be able to cast this to bonefish and let it stay on the bottom without getting any snags. So after that is done, basically we only have a few steps left before this fly is done. I need some flashy blue dubbing, and I need some SLF in the color white or tan. Tan is a nice color for basically any crustacean. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix my flashy blue dubbing with this STF dubbing. STF dubbing is also many times called polar dubbing. Very nice dubbing. Like so. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a dubbing loop. When you do a dubbing loop, you can many times you can save the hassle of making a body hackle, a palmar hackle. So I have the dubbing loop here all ready and good to go. I'm gonna take all my mixed dubbing here. I'm gonna put it inside the dubbing loop, distribute it. Like this. Then I'm gonna take my CF Design turbo dubbing reel. This is as good as it gets. This is a fairly insane tool. Really works well. And as you can see now, I have a very nice dubbing brush here, all ready for action. So I'm gonna turn my dubbing. All the way up here, and what this this dubbing loop does is it makes my body here a lot stronger, because all the dubbing is intertwined in between the thread, but also all the dubbing stands out way better on the fly here, like so. And as I get up to the head, I'm just gonna tie it down and cut the rest of it off using my good scissor. Since this is a bit too wild for me, I'm just gonna trim some of this dubbing down here with my fingers. And as you can see, what you have now is a fairly furry ball of dubbing and flesh, and this really comes to life in the water, and really, well, basically, as I was saying, this basically looks like food. It doesn't look like any specific crustacean, it just looks like food. And then here all the way in the front of the fly now, I'm gonna tie the two last rubber legs. Like so. One on one side, and then the other on the other side here. So it has the same V as on the tail ones. Making my whip finish, pulling everything tight. And there you have it, the Fyggi. Fyggi. A nice, fairly easy, but very reliable bonefish or sea trout, or I think this would probably work very well for redfish and perhaps even for permits and all sorts of fish that feeds on crustacean. I've caught a lot of sea trouts on this, and I've actually also caught some pretty nice bonefish on this as well. See something there is a bit more contrast to it. You can see the fly here, the Fyggi, a very good fly, very simple, but strong, durable, works and really fish as well. So thank you for tuning in.